Hi, beautiful souls, and welcome to the weekly tarot reading for the collective. My name is Meri. I am the creatrix of the spiritual sense. This is a reading for the week of August 28th to September 3rd. Thank you guys so much for being here. And if you're new, please consider subscribing and also following me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. These are weekly short readings and they may resonate with you this week, or it can be even weeks and months later. Take what resonates and drop anything else that doesn't. Listen to your inner guidance as always to see what message resonates with you and what intuitive hits you kind of get from the messages that come through the tarot cards. So let's go ahead and begin. It is a really powerful transformational time here in the upcoming weeks. Your soul is asking you to release judgment first. Release judgment of what other people are going through and focus on yourself. I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. The cards are asking you to focus on yourself, to know that every creation of every person out there is a creation of God, and to release judgment and come back into your own self. And you may be going through extremely dark times. And what will help you go through these dark times, these transformational, deep, intense release of the divine feminine, of the darkest shadows within us, are coming up to be released. At the same time, what can help you is having close friends. Understand that a friend in my life is there for a reason. Notice the people that are in your life and focus on the closest soul connections that you have, and that will help you go through these times, these intense transformative times. Also, find daily ways to explore, to express gratitude. I'm thankful for this life and all the opportunities that it presents. So this is from the soul deck. So the three themes from the soul are basically friendship, finding friendship that will support you in this time, having gratitude, even if it's the littlest things, because you cannot let the darkness take over. You cannot let the mind take over at these times, because the mind will take you to the darkest things and tell you that this life is not worth living, and it's just, you, when you're in that intense emotional depth of yourself, it can be feeling like you can't climb out of that. But these three things will help you: gratitude, friendships, and releasing judgment. Accept these parts are happening for you for a reason. When you face these things within, it will help you face your fears and come out with freedom. So, and I'll get to this is just such an incredible reading. Nine of Swords is coming up. So this person, is trying to focus on their life, and they're closing their ears because they have a siren, sending this distraction of a message. They are kind of clouding their judgment. They can't focus because these sirens will keep them up all night. So some of you may not be sleeping at night. You're just going through this turmoil, and you're not sure what's next for you, and you're feeling such dark times and this anguish that you don't know how to turn it off. There's a lot of distractions pulling you in every way possible. It's loud, it's crazy all around you. The only thing that kind of is solace for you is that you can actually turn it off. It could be, the media, social media, too much connection to the digital world. The only solace that you can have when you think about it is just turn it off. Turn off the phone, turn off the Wi-Fi, whatever it is, and just connect with nature. And this is just incredible. So I literally just got this deck yesterday, and I love it so much because Kali is my favorite goddess. And I felt called to pick up the card, to pull the card. And literally, this card came for me yesterday. And I didn't want to shuffle it again because I felt this pain myself. So So sometimes I think these messages that come through us personally, and I know it can help somebody out there, even if it's one person. And the card is the goddess Kalarartri, number 32. She's basically like the Black Knight. She's the dark night of the soul. And sometimes we have to go through these things. It's not all rainbows and butterflies and sunshine. The spiritual souls that are here go through so much pain and so much transformation. And then once again, do they go through multiple dark nights of the soul? Kundalini awakening can trigger these things where you're facing your, like, a grief within you that you feel like you're literally like dying, and it seems like there's no end in sight. But these transformations come to face your darkest fears. It is so important to give space to yourself at this time and not to get distracted, like this, the Nine of Swords, not to get distracted at this time at all. Because you may be feeling intense, needs to cry, to purge out for no reason. You might not be depressed, and it doesn't matter, what you're going through. You just feel like you have to purge this energy. You have to cry. You have to release. And then, yes, then you get moments of bliss. And then again, next day, or even it can be a couple hours later, there you are again, triggered, and you start crying again. Do not judge yourself. Like I said in the beginning, release all judgment for yourself and others. Everything is happening in perfect divine timing. You are on a trajectory of releasing an old timeline, releasing an old self, so you can be propelled into the new life. And your mind cannot really decipher what is going to be your future, who you're going to be. You can only try to imagine it, but it will be bigger than you can ever imagine, because you have to let go and release of the ego wishes and ego projections and ego predictions of what it's going to be, because it's going to be bigger, and you have to release and be open that anything is possible. This death within that comes, you don't know what you're going to look like a year from now, 6 months from now. Find gratitude that you're here. Please find gratitude. Whatever message, if this is reaching somebody out there, if you're feeling really dark moments, please get help if you need help. But find moments of gratitude that you are here for a reason. And because you're so sensitive, you're going through this transformation, please be aware of it, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit from this card. So basically, she's called the Black Knight. She wears this dark cloak, and she's the emanation of goddess Kali herself. Kali is our dark night of the soul. Kalarartri is known as the dark night of the final dissolution, the formal and absolute ending of something that no longer needs to be. She signifies that there is no going back. She is the spiritual solvent into which we, as we have known ourselves and experienced our agonies, can dissolve. Let it all go. Let it all be released into earth, into Gaia. Everything that you've known, everything that you thought will be, is not going to be. Imagine and just release all of that. Release, because you just don't know. Accept knowing that you do not know what will be the future. And face those fears. Write them down. What is your biggest fear? Look at it straight in the eye to let it go. The oracle brings a message of total change, of a need to let go of what has been so that the new form can be established. You will not know what the new form is going to look like, just as you don't know what the dream will before you go to sleep, nor in what state you will awaken the following morning. As you enter into the spiritual sleep, you cannot know what will happen, yet this is Kali, so we can trust. Sleep only comes when we let go. So too, this deep and restorative spiritual surrender can only happen when we're willing to let go of our attachment to what has been. This form of the goddess is said to ward off dark entities, ghosts or spirits, the negative energies. As they all flee upon her arrival, The sanctuary overnight is all it entails, such as coming face to face with our fears, as though that releasing them. It's a temple for healing within the goddess. So many gifts of Kalarartri include increased fearlessness and freedom. The oracle guides you to trust in her protection and her promise that under her guiding hand you shall become all you have destined to be. So the beauty of the dark night of the soul to me is you have this immense inner strength within you that knows you're protected, and you can literally ward off negative spirits around you because you feel so connected to the deepest depths, the darkest depths of yourself. But on the other end of the spectrum, of course, it can take you into darkest aspects of the unconscious aspects. But when you stay connected to these deepest parts where you feel that the beauty within this darkness, that you're protected from God's source, from Goddess Kali, protects you from negative spirits, from psychic attacks. No, keep space for yourself. This is what happens when you go into the depths of the fears and of the darkest parts of yourself. They can no longer hold you anymore once you get connected and see them. And once you know that every single person on this earth has these parts, and imagine if all of us did this work of dark night of the soul, where we faced our fears and we didn't go into the addictions and we didn't go into, God forbid, other ways of, God forbid, like ending lives and just not deciding not to go forward, not to move forward. That is such a tragedy to think that there's so much beauty at the end of this, at the end of the tunnel. If we give ourselves the gifts and the space to feel it all, to heal it all, to release it all, so much more powerful do you come out at the end. So now, the last three cards from the Sacred Traveler, what does the soul also wants you to know in this journey is follow your bliss, navigating by the stars. You can't see the stars a mile from now or miles from now. You can only see above what is above you. Focus what's in front of you. Focus on the moment at hand when you're going through these times. Focus on nutrients that you're putting inside your body. Focus on the present moment. Focus on your own, what is going to bring you bliss for that day, for that moment, so that you can find some inner strength as you're guiding yourself through it. Staying focused, again, not letting distractions take you away. Because if you go and get distracted during the dark night of the soul, you're just postponing it at a later date. And that's why it can last for such a long time, because you're not really taking time for yourself, to nurture yourself, your mind, body, and spirit. You nurture your temple, your body, your mind. Watch what you're watching, who you're hanging out with. Watch what you're eating. You have a spiritual practice daily, gratitude practice, meditate, pray, or whatever works for you. Staying focused and staying grounded on what it is that you want to get out of this time. Like, what are you trying to release? What is your one thing that you want to lay down to rest and let go? And that is exactly what you're going to do when you stay focused. And then, wise leader, you're a beacon for others. So by doing this work that you're doing, you don't know how many people you're impacting in your life. Be vulnerable with people. Share this time with a few souls that you have, few friends, close connections that will understand you. Shine your light into the darkest parts. And I know even if you don't feel like you don't have it in you right now, just find the little small moments with people that you can connect with and to share your vulnerability so they can also shine a light for you. And then you can shine a light for them that, hey, you can't pretend to be strong always. You have to have these moments where you really admit to yourself, when your heart chakra is so wide open and you're so sensitive that, there's no need to pretend that everything's okay when it's not. And there is light at the end of the tunnel, and then this eternal child is coming up. The last card here of the deck is the eternal child. What happens when we go through the dark night of the soul is that we return to the eternal child within ourselves, the playful child. Uh, you're literally, in a way, healing and bringing out this inner child within you by going through these dark nights of the soul, going through these transformations, this divine transformation, and letting go of all that's not you anymore, and that you thought you were going to be or do, but you don't feel it anymore, and that's okay. Because notice how your energy is when you're doing something that you love. The eternal child, you have this endless, endless, beautiful energy. And that is essentially what is the light at the end of the tunnel. It's this becoming this eternal child, um, regardless of your age. Notice how when people get older, they become more younger. They release so much of guilt, of the world, of people pleasing. They release, the need to prove themselves. They're just literally living every day like it's their last, because they know they've seen so much death and grief in their life that there is nothing worth holding back who they are, holding themselves from what they want, pretending that everything's okay and just saying yes to everything around them when they feel like, no, why would I do that? My life is short. I might not wake up tomorrow. Just like a child being honest. Think about how kids are honest with you, how they tell you the truth, like up to like 5, 6 years old or whatnot. And then, they start to people please as they get older because they're being conditioned. So that is going to conclude this reading. I hope you guys just find some space, give space to yourself to feel it all, to release it all, and to connect to yourself and not judge yourself or others. Because at the end of this, you are going to be less judging of others, because everybody's fighting some kind of battle as you go through the dark night of the soul. So I don't know who this might resonate with. 1, 2, 5 people, it doesn't matter. All I know is this card came up twice in 2 days, so I did not want to um, take it out or anything like that, because I know there's a purpose in it all. So thank you guys so much for being here. Please like and share with somebody who might be going through this time right now, so they can understand a little bit more about the dark night of the soul. And it's hard to, explain it in like 10-15 minutes, but hopefully this helps. Please share with somebody you might resonate with, and also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and subscribe here to my YouTube channel. I talk about human design. I do human design readings and also tarot readings as well, one-on-one, and also do Kundalini yoga. So thank you guys for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Thanks.